Alright, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. And we just haven't been uploading for the past couple days, but that's because we were out camping. And we had some cell service, not the best cell service. We were out in California City in the middle of nowhere. And it was weird because it was where, like, there was streets. There was one partially paved street that took us out there that was probably like 15 miles long, and there was like all these different street names coming off of this partially paved street, and apparently it's because it was a development out there that they started developing, but they never actually built anything on. Like, they got the streets laid out, and that's basically it. So it's just like one main partially paved street and a bunch of dirt roads just out in the middle of nowhere in the desert. And we went out there and camped. The first day we got there, we were the third motorhome to get there, and then it filled up after the first day. The second day there was probably like 12 motorhomes there, motorhomes and trailers. And then the next day, there was probably like 25 motorhomes and trailers just all set up out here in the middle of the desert, in the middle of nowhere. Just kind of formed a circle with all these motorhomes and trailers, and it was pretty sick. We went out there my grandpa brought his Razor. It's a 2-seater Razor XP1000, and I'll probably put some pictures in as I'm talking too. But it was so fun because if you know me, you know that I really like Raptors. And Raptors, they were made to take out in the desert and kind of go at high speeds over like on trails, dirt roads and stuff at high speeds with good suspension, Fox Racing shocks to absorb all the bumps and stuff. And riding in the Razor, we did a lot of that. Look out for some videos coming soon. I'm putting together some pretty juicy videos of us in the Razor, because I brought my Insta360 camera and recorded a lot of the cool parts of the trip. So I'm gonna put that all together, and that'll be a really cool video. But we did that, and it was we did some like high-speed driving that I like. That's my favorite. High-speed on the off-road and just going over bumps and feeling the suspension absorb everything that you go over. Then we did some little bit slower stuff, like through some turns and bushes. We did some hill climbing, rock climbing. That car can take you basically anywhere you want to go. We even went up this mountain. And the first day we went up and we found a mine shaft, an old abandoned mine shaft and mine, which was really cool. And then the next day, the day after, we were up on this mountain and we found this giant hole in the ground. Just like this hole, probably like 15 feet in diameter, and it just went straight down. And you couldn't even see the bottom. We threw a rock in there. You couldn't even hear it hit the bottom. It was kind of scary. And saw a couple wild tarantulas. No snakes though, thank goodness. But it was so cool. Met some really cool people. Like a lot of the business people in town, like the people who own the businesses were out there. And so it was pretty fun. Lots of the people with money to be able to afford a motorhome and a trailer and a Razor or a side-by-side. And we had a campfire, and we just sat around the campfire, and there was one guy that was making food for everyone, and I wanted to try it, but we brought food to make ourselves, and my grandpa's a picky eater, so we just ate our own food. But he made like homemade pasta, and he made breakfast almost every day. And we were only out there for 3 days, but it was so fun. It was a blast. And I can't believe I've never camped like that before. I've been missing out on so much. And I was telling my grandpa, I'm like, there's probably so many things in this world that are like that I have no idea exist, that I've never done, that I would really enjoy just like that. He even let me drive the Razor, and it was freaking awesome. It was something else. But just being able to drift it in the dirt and just fly over bumps, and it's so smooth, and man, it was so cool. We did end up on the last day that we were there. We were going and through some mountains and stuff, and this one guy ruined his belt on his Razor, so then we had all the guys in the group had to fix that while we were on the side of the mountain. They fixed that, and we got going, and then like a half a mile later, my grandpa blew his tire out, so we had to fix that. And he popped his tire, didn't really blow it out, but we slid into a rock, and it hit the sidewall of the tire and popped it off the rim. We had to change the tire. Luckily we had a spare tire, but it wasn't the same size as the other one, so it felt funny riding in it. But we made it back, and there was a lot of stuff just like out in the middle of nowhere. Like, there was the second day, we went to this memorial thing on the hill, and it was like a bunch of crosses and stuff and flags for memorials for people that have died, just out in the middle of nowhere, just on the side of this random hill. And then we went to another memorial. It's called the Husky Memorial. It was a lot bigger, and it was just in the middle of nowhere, just to circle a ring of rocks around all this motorcycle stuff, and just out in the middle of the desert with plaques and names and dates and pictures, flag poles. And it was really cool, but it was spooky. It was kind of weird. And then, yeah, there was a car, a rusty, flipped car that burnt down. There was burnt down motorhomes. There was all kinds of stuff out here in the middle of the desert. It felt really weird being out there. It was almost spooky, especially being this close to Halloween. It was cool though. I had a blast. But then we got back this morning, and just trying to clean it all up. You make a mess when you're out there in the desert. You gotta clean a lot of things. But yeah, so now that we're back, I'm finally going to start applying for some jobs, which will be interesting. And lots of people. I met an airline pilot out there he was a police officer for 21 years, and then he retired, and he had been flying on the side for the last 25 years, he said, but not a lot of flying. And then he got a job at the airlines. Well, first he got one at a charter company, and then he got one at the airlines, and now he's an airline pilot. So I was kind of talking to him a little bit, and he had some good information. And it was funny because talking to different pilots, you kind of talk to them and figure out that they have different opinions on different things. I asked him where he got his certificates and what he thought of the ATP schools, which are the fast track, $100,000. They get you from nothing to 1,500 hours, which is enough to go into the airlines in 7 months. And he's like, well, you get what you pay for. I mean, it's a fast track, so it's a little cheaper, but it's the bare minimums of everything. Whereas the other pilot that I talked to when in my motorcycle riding class, he said ATP was the best option, and he said if he could go back, he would go that route. And it's just funny, the different people that you talk to. But a lot of people like that idea of me being a pilot, and I like that idea. I can't wait to get this medical done in like 2 weeks, and then finally be able to start flying, which is going to be so cool. But that means I got to get a job to pay for it, which is going to be fine. It'll be worth it in the end. But while I was out there, I was just like thinking about different jobs I could do, and then my grandpa let me drive the motorhome a little ways on the way back, and it was fun driving it that big of a thing. I'm like, being a truck driver might be a good start. I mean, it pays pretty well. Get a license out of it. You have to get your Class A license, and you get to explore a lot of places and driving the truck. And it's fun just to be in charge of something that big. I mean, that's kind of why I want to be a pilot, because like just to be in charge of a plane is, be able to control it and stuff is really cool. But what did I learn from camping? Okay, I learned a couple things. We'll do 3 things. Since we were there, we missed 3 days of uploading videos. And one's kind of generic, which is everyone there, of course, was drinking. And my mom's always said that, like, if you drink, you'll have more friends, which is completely true. But I don't want to drink, and I don't plan on drinking. But everyone there was drinking, and it's just something they all do together, and it kind of puts them close. So that was one thing. Another thing was that you have to try everything, because there are so many things out here in the world that you have no idea that you would like until you try it. Like camping, like out in the middle of the desert, because I've been camping before, but I've never been like boondock camping where you're not at hookups and you're just in the middle of nowhere with a bunch of people. Like I've never been camping with a group like that before. Like most of the time it's just been with a smaller group, like family. But and then driving side by sides like that. We did have, my parents had a side by side, but I was too young to drive it. And I remember it being pretty fun, but it was never like that. It wasn't like desert driving, which was super cool. And then the third thing is the more that you get involved in, the more people you meet. Because I always thought that like working, and I still kind of think this way, working all the time benefit like my future self the most. But if you don't find hobbies and you don't find like things to do with other people, then you won't meet people to do things with, which is kind of I don't know how to put that. It's kind of like a stab in the back to your future self, because then it takes away time from working and making money and stuff. But having the connections is also important at the same time, and having a little bit of fun while you're there. And it's kind of difficult because, hanging out with my grandpa and all of his friends, they have money to afford all of this stuff. I don't have any money to afford all of these cool toys and all this cool stuff. So it's kind of teasing me. It's like, well, this is what you could have, but you can't have it yet. And I mean, it's really cool. I'm really enjoying it. It's amazing. But yeah, so I'm gonna wrap it up there. That was a cool camping trip. Make sure you watch out for some videos coming out soon, and they're gonna be some pretty cool videos. But if you made it this far, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, share the video with a friend, join that Discord, link in description. Check out the community channel, RSN or Our Success Network, and I'll see you in the next one.